everyone. It's been almost 10 months since my last episode here at the Andrew Ramon Show. And I had planned to return, but I never committed to any dates. But last Wednesday, September 10th, changed everything. I want to talk to you about Charlie Kirk's assassination, the response to it, what it means for all of us. How do we process this? How do we move on? Do we move forward? How does all of this work? And if you have a difference of opinion, I do encourage you to kind of just stay with me here. If I had asked you, did you hear about last week's tragedy? It would be a fair question to ask which one, because that's just the harsh reality of these last couple of weeks. Are you talking about the horrific cold-blood murder of the Ukrainian lady in the subway? Are you talking about the school shootings that also happened on 9/10? Are you talking about the remembrance of 9/11? Or are you talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination? That's a lot of things. And that's just things that got the headlines. There's so many other tragedies going on right now. And, my heart has been so heavy because I was talking to my parents about this, and they can tell me exactly where they were during when 9/11 happened, because there are that's one of those memorable in a negative way or marking events, impactful events in your life. And I think I regret to say that September 10th has now become that for me. I remember where I was. I was recovering from a fever. I was home on that Wednesday, and then my brother Chris texted our family group chat with just the words, "Charlie Kirk just got shot. Pray for him." Almost immediately, my friends' group chat came online as well, and people were texting about it. And I went to Instagram, and one of the first videos I ever saw was that kind of far away perspective of him getting shot in the neck and dropping. And you're going, what the heck? There's no way that's real. Like there's no way that's real. And you refresh the screen again, and you refresh the screen again, and here comes all the breaking news. Charlie Kirk has been shot. Breaking news, Charlie Kirk's been shot. And you're thinking, is he dead? Because again, they almost took out President Trump, and you're thinking, is he dead? Is he not? And then you start hearing the news. Hey, he's in the hospital. Charlie Kirk's in the hospital. He's fighting for his life. He's in critical condition, but he's alive. And you're thinking, God, this is your miracle. Like you're going to do this. Like, dude, I cried, I prayed, and it felt forever. And then the confirmations came that he'd passed. Oh man, that was rough. That was rough, man. You might have seen the video, or maybe you have just heard the news, but I want to just share with you why it's so devastating. And again, if you have a difference of opinion and you think you're like, oh man, yeah, I disagree with you, just stick with me here. I never knew Charlie Kirk personally. I started following him almost since he came online years ago. And I think my mom was one of the first people to show me one of his videos. And he's just a young dude. Like he's the age of my oldest brother, Josiah, 31 years old. So he's 5 years older than me. And I'm all into, I like politics, I like apologetics, I like talking about religion and faith and all that stuff. And here, this guy was doing that, but in college, and he was debating people. Like I do that at youth group, you know what I mean? Back then. So I'm like, wow, this guy has guts about this. And then years later, he goes on to be one of the biggest voices in the conservative movement, creates one of the biggest organizations, conservative young adults organizations, and then was like critical to getting Trump reelected. And this man accomplished more in 31 years than anyone else might do in their lifetime. But more importantly than his pros and his additions to conservatism or getting Trump elected was that he was a follower of Jesus and an ambassador of God's kingdom. Like apologetics was central to who he was. And he was not a Republican and a Christian or a conservative and a Christian. He was a Christian, and out of those beliefs, he was a conservative. So that's why it's so devastating, because he was one of us. He was like me. And he's dead. Not only is he dead, but they shot him. Like he wasn't a radical. He wasn't like an extremist, a far-right wing activist or confrontational, blah, 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 however the media wants to spin it. No. He's a Christian and a conservative. In that order, Christian and conservative. A brother in Christ. So the attack on him wasn't just a random one. You're like, well, that just sucks. No, he had an unpopular opinion but he had the courage to allow people to try to prove him wrong. So many of us have unpopular opinions, but we would never allow people to try to critique us or try to prove us wrong. It's tragic that we live in such a desensitized culture where so many of us just didn't even know how to process this. Because of our desensitized culture, where every TikTok video starts to blend in with the next, I think we've become callous. One second you're laughing, the next second you're kind of just disturbed by a video, and then the next video you're laughing again. We're becoming insensitive to things, where tragedy can just be swiped away. Next video. Next video. Where breaking news literally becomes old news with just a refresh of your feed. We live in such a relativist world where people are afraid to simply say murder is wrong, that Charlie should still be alive. No buts after that. That's it. Period. Done. That's your statement. But how often did you see videos today, this week, of people going, murder is wrong, Charlie Kirk should not be killed. But, and here they go, giving whatever reasons they think made Charlie a bad person. People say, I disagreed with him a lot, and I didn't think he was a good person, but we shouldn't shoot people we disagree with. Why is it that the first thing you have to say is coming in defense of yourself rather than the one who just got assassinated? Don't get me wrong, I'm glad that some of these people are speaking out and they're saying something, but it's sad that you have to defend yourself first. I'm sure you've even heard or even saw the demonic responses to his death, the disinterest, the indifference, the, hey, well, interesting, what's for lunch today? The even celebration of his murder, not death, of his murder. He wasn't killed, he was assassinated. That's important. People are killed in a drunk driver scenario, but he was assassinated. Let's not water it down. This reminds me to Christianity Today's piece, and maybe it's been corrected for all I know, but this was the title of it. With a confrontational style honed for college campuses and social media, Charlie Kirk sought to renew America. The conservative political activist founder of Turning Point USA died on Wednesday at age 31. Died of what? Smallpox? The flu? Can you be a little bit more specific? Let me rewrite it for you. With an open debate style focused on college campuses in the next generation, founder of Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, was assassinated at 31. Call it what it is. Call evil what it is. We're missing a moral spine. It's tragic to see people defend themselves before they can defend Charlie's life. Where they say, I didn't agree with him. I don't think he was right, but he shouldn't have been shot. They take 3 steps back and 1 tiny step forward, and they call that bravery. That's not bravery. We have a whole wave of Christians that feel that this is their moment to say what they believe is the unpopular truth, what no one wants to talk about, but someone has to say, their uncomfortable opinion, that although they believe Charlie shouldn't have been murdered, here are all the reasons why he shouldn't be celebrated. It's almost like when someone goes, hey, no offense, but let me offend you, right? When someone goes, hey, man, can I say something? No offense, but let me offend you. That's been a wave of Christians right now saying Charlie Kirk shouldn't have died. Murder is wrong. But, and the video is longer after the but than it is before it. That tells you something is wrong here. Well, they say, it's because he was really a racist, that he was a sexist, he was a homophobe, he was an Islamophobe, he was a transphobe, he was a transformer, apparently. I don't know how many words they flung at this guy. And he allegedly believed that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake or that blacks were better in the 40s and all these things. And the idea is, I will be the moral person here. Charlie Kirk was not a moral person, but I will be the moral person and say that he should have died despite him being a horrible person. That's the attitude that these videos give. And I've seen this again and again. It's the same attitude I heard from Christians during when Roe v. Wade was overturned and all the intellectual theologians came out to have very nuanced perspectives regarding abortion as they sip on their matcha or drink their coffee. I saw the same thing. there's a lot of videos. This is not going to be a video debunking every lie on Charlie Kirk because there's great ones out there, which you should look into. Don't just get stuck with those guys to go, here's a quote from Charlie Kirk and just quote him like 2 lines and then go end quote, and that proves one thing. You have to look at the full context, and it's not like you have to go like do mental gymnastics to defend this guy. It clearly, he is highly misrepresented. But let me just quickly unpack this part that I think is ridiculous, or as my favorite word is redonkulous. It's just simply redonkulous. The accusation of Charlie Kirk being a racist. Let me say this with you. A racist according to who? To you, probably, if you believe that. But it's interesting because the same people calling him racist are the same people saying that Candace Owens, Larry Elder, Thomas Sowell, Clarence Thomas, and other conservative blacks aren't black at all. That they're aunt and uncle, and you can finish the sentence there, that they're actually the faces of white supremacy. So you're saying that, and at the same time you're calling Charlie Kirk racist. Yeah, I don't buy it. Oh, but you're calling him a sexist. Okay, married with a wife who's extremely confident and everything. You saw her even in her video when she addressed his death. I mean, just the strength in that lady. She was not like oh, she's such a submissive voice in that sense. She was a powerhouse, you could tell. So, but has a wife, daughter. He's pro-life, which, by the way, means defending the life of countless unborn girls. But sure, he's a sexist. You're absolutely right. He's a sexist because you took something out of context. Congratulations. You're very smart. Oh, he's a homophobe, you say. Well, according to you, being a homophobe is just disagreeing with the lifestyle of a homosexual. So, I mean, according to those people, I'm a homophobe. But you can love the person. And you go, oh, here you go. You're going to say love the sinner, not the sin. Yeah, that's kind of how it works. And if you disagree with that, that doesn't mean it's untrue. So the Bible says that homosexuality is a sin, just like 1,000 other sins out there. But if you believe that, that makes you a homophobe. I want to remind you, Charlie Kirk had a married lesbian speak at one of his events. A married lesbian, like that's gay. You know what I mean? That's not like someone in the closet. That's like out of the freaking house. Like she didn't even come out of the closet. Like she came out of everything. And she's a married lesbian with a child. And Charlie Kirk considered her a friend. But he's a homophobe. For sure, homie, for sure. And he did that because he believed in political unity. Yet at the same time, he 100% believed what the Bible talked about. Okay, and he was unapologetic about that. Oh, but you call him an Islamophobe. Okay, here we go. These phobias we have just made up are ridiculous. Let me explain what Islamophobe is. What Charlie Kirk kind of believed in a nutshell. He believed that Islam, not Arabs, Islam, was incompatible with Western values. Again, not Arabs, Islam. People try to make this about race. It's not about race. It's an ideological issue. Oh, but they call them a transphobe. Okay, so a transphobe. Here we go again. A transphobe according to who? To you. Because you believe, and by you, I mean, if you believe this, you believe that anyone who disagrees with the lifestyle or the delusion that you are someone you are born into the wrong body, even though you do it actually out of love and you have compassion for them, but if you don't agree with them, then you are a transphobe and you're erasing their existence. I wish you saw the videos where Charlie Kirk actually talked to someone who was confused about their identity and believed that they were born in the wrong body. And he was compassionate, had them tell their story, tried to understand them, and at the same time, tell the truth. The same way that many Christians are thinking they're being loving by posting these videos that have more nuance and have more of the quote-unquote unpopular opinion, you would say you're being loving by telling the truth. So was Charlie. So am I. We're being loving by telling the truth. It's possible to have both, compassion for the individual and call delusion what it is. It's possible to have both. Oh, but you're like, well, what about what he said about immigration? Okay, here it is. Everyone has their topic, right? Charlie Kirk simply believed that if you're going to come to the country, you should come legally. Yes, if you came illegally, it is a crime. It is. I think Charlie Kirk was not a pastor. Charlie Kirk was not responsible for like making people feel better. And let me phrase it in a nicer way. I wish sometimes he phrases things when people call like the southern border like an invasion of sorts. I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying because in many ways we're seeing an invasion, but not every person that comes here illegally is an invader in that sense. That's very charged language. But again, you've never said anything charged in your life. Charlie clearly loved people because he loved Jesus. So I don't agree with how people are painting Charlie Kirk. I agreed a lot with Charlie Kirk and what he actually said. And that's why you're seeing statements with the words, "we are Charlie," come up. Not because we are all conservative or we all believe in this policy or that policy. No. It's because Charlie Kirk was just a Christian who stood for what he believed and what he believed the Bible taught conservatively. He wasn't an elected official. He was like me and he was like you. The only difference is he used his voice and he was courageous. So, how do we get here? I mean, an assassination is the last stop in society's train before chaos. How the heck did we get here? One of the biggest reasons, I believe, of how we got here is when we started to shift the conversation around speech. Because a lot of haters about Charlie will call his influence harmful. Not uncomfortable, that's one thing, but actually harmful to certain communities. You see all the apologetic and nuanced conversations be like, I think he shouldn't have been shot, even though he said some harmful things about my community, even though he said some harmful things, that there are victims to Charlie's hatred and that they will not get justice since he's passed away and cannot be held accountable. Are you catching on to these words? Victim, harm, justice, accountability. We're talking about words. All these terms are used for actual violence, but people use them for words because you've heard the phrase, speech is violence. If you believe speech is violence, I'm so sorry for you because it simply is not. Those terms of harm, victims, justice, accountability, those are things connected to actual violence that happens, not for things that you disagree with. Speech is not violence unless it actually incites to violence. So you use violence terminology. Don't be surprised of when violence actually breaks out. Culture, media continuously call Charlie and conservative Nazis, fascists. You booked your ticket on this train by continuously promoting that lie. I'm also seeing how Christians are saying that this is selective outrage, right? You've seen the posts. You've seen I hate to say this, but where was the outrage when X and Y and Z happened? I've seen the posts. You've seen them too. When they're like, well, you're upset about a white man dying, but what about all the families that were ripped apart by ICE? I never saw your outrage there. You're upset about one man dying, but there are thousands dying in Gaza every day. Where's your outrage now? Where's your outrage for the school shootings? Okay. The same people that claim selective outrage by giving 2-3 examples of what they believe is missing in the conversation are a few tragedies short in their list. Why are you not talking about Gaza? Wait a second. Why are you not talking about Libya? Why are you not talking about every other tragedy that is happening in the world? If you complain that people have selective outrage in the last week because they didn't talk about X, then my friend, you also have selective outrage because you didn't talk about X, Y, Z, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. The list continues and never stops. So according to this, you should never actually be able to mourn anybody because there's always someone else that you can mourn about. So next time a friend loses a loved one, you can go up to them and say, hey, I'm so sorry that they passed, but I noticed that you have selective grief because you didn't cry for the children in the third world country. Really? That's what we do here. Selective outrage. Where was your outrage when X, Y, and Z? Where was your outrage when all these tragedies are happening in the world? Here's the truth. To me, the word martyr was a foreign word for a person on the other side of the world in a different country, right? From maybe a person a long time ago in history. But that changed on September 10th. Charlie Kirk is the martyr of my generation. So I won't move on from this conversation. I will move forward, but I will never move on. Going to college campuses was Charlie's yes to God's call for his life. Your calling may be different. My calling may be different. But the question is, when God calls, will your answer also be yes? This is a wake-up call for everyone. Too many of us have accepted the status quo that told us as Christians that we should be quiet and just keep our thoughts to ourselves. Not anymore. It's time to be bold. It's time to be courageous. Don't hide behind just saying, well, my life will be the example. It's time to use your God-given voice. Yes, live and lead by example, but also use your voice. Don't just live the truth of Jesus, speak the truth of Jesus. So use your voice, stand up tall, and proclaim the gospel. We'll see you in the next episode of The Andrew Show.